let me just say thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today with Susan Gates, the co-founder and CMO of the W Marketplace. As many of you know, Leadership Global has a strategic partnership with the W Marketplace. And I got to tell you, I am thrilled to be able to partner with Susan today to talk about leveraging digital marketplaces to grow your business. I'm Linda Fisk. I'm the CEO of Leadership Global, and I'm absolutely thrilled to welcome you to the program today. Leadership Global is one of absolutely the most impactful communities of extraordinary women in the world. We unleash the full potential of high-performing and growth-oriented leaders in a confidential, supportive, and private community. Leadership Global helps members accelerate their success by defining their vision, growing their leadership, expanding their influence, and leaving a lasting legacy. And if you're interested in learning more about this remarkable community of women leading across business, entertainment, and politics, then please don't hesitate to reach out. Now, for today's topic, I'm sure, as all of you can attest, change is happening faster than ever, and operating efficiently is now essential to doing business. In order to achieve operating efficiency and scale, many companies are establishing digital platforms that extend beyond traditional sales channels. But what is the right way to build these platforms and these new sales channels? Business owners that sell products and services face many challenges as they build and optimize their online experiences, their websites, their pricing strategy, their merchandising approach, and fulfillment. And successful business owners have adopted processes and procedures that enable strong customer engagement and also encourage best practice adoption to both attract and retain customers. So today, Susan will share with us the opportunities and best practices to foster customer engagement and to drive online sales to a global marketplace. Susan will offer insights on how business owners that are offering professional services, as well as other products and services, can leverage digital marketplaces to grow their business. Today, you'll learn how to expand your sales channels and evaluate various platforms for business fit. The value of finding a community and a network cannot be overstated. And joining a vibrant marketplace versus going it alone is where successful business owners are finding new opportunities to generate sales. But before we dive in, let me tell you a little bit more about Susan. As I noted, Susan is the co-founder and CMO of the W Marketplace. And the W Marketplace is the economic engine for women that enables women to shop our values by purchasing from women-owned businesses, professional services, gender-balanced national brands, and engage in community support of both women and girls. The W Marketplace was born out of just one urgent mission, and that's to accelerate the closing of the economic gender gap by putting money directly in the pockets of women-owned and gender-balanced companies. Susan saw the disproportionate effect that the pandemic was having on women, and so she and her team created a platform where women can launch and grow a business. They can find resources to help them succeed and meet other women entrepreneurs and business owners. So thank you so much for being here, Susan.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you for that lovely introduction. And that we at the W Marketplace are also just so excited about partnering with an incredible organization like Leadership Global. Developing the leadership skills and abilities and those connections among women is just incredibly important. So we're thrilled to be partnering with you and to be exposing those opportunities for the members on our site to all of the opportunities through Leadership Global, and then also vice versa, having your members being aware of the opportunities through the W Marketplace. And this is really how we see women succeeding in business, right? It is through all of these types of connections where we're we're joining together, we're joining forces, we're creating a whole ecosystem where we can be supporting each other. And that's one of the key missions and values of the W Marketplace is, as Linda described, we're really, we're an ecosystem where women entrepreneurs can grow and thrive. And also, as Linda mentioned, we were born out of the pandemic. We're coming up on our 1-year anniversary of being a business. We just were formed as an LLC last May, became actually a C Corp last fall. We launched the W Marketplace platform just at the end of last September. We had about 80 women-owned businesses who were part of the marketplace when we launched, and we had about 600 products and services on the site. And as of today, we're at about 400 women-owned businesses and over 2,000 products and services. So we have seen over the last, it feels like 10 years, but I think it's only been about 7 or 8 months since we launched the platform live, that there's a demand and a desire for women coming together in this type of a platform to be selling together, to be selling to each other, be supporting each other, and really creating a community of entrepreneurs. So it's been a really fun year.
And I love that, Susan. And I think importantly, it's appropriate to point out that the W Marketplace isn't just about selling jewelry and clothes and products. It's really about selling services too. It could be marketing expertise or financial advisory services or coaching, or it could be any kind of services that women are offering to a wide variety of clients or customers across boundaries, really globally. So if I decide to join a marketplace, what's your best advice on how I can maximize my presence there and make sure that customers find me, that I'm uniquely differentiated, and that people can find what I have to offer?
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for really honing in on this professional services piece, because this is an area where the W Marketplace really is uniquely situated in the market. There are many of you who are on this call are professional service providers, and you know that there are associations where you can list your business. There's chambers of commerce. There's lots of places where you can, do a listing. And that is, and obviously, and then you also mentioned that many of you have your own websites as well. So there are different ways that you can market yourselves digitally. But if you're thinking about joining a platform like the W Marketplace that does have a placement for professional service providers, there are lots of things that you should be thinking about. One, and this is one that we all ask ourselves as business owners, what is it going to cost me? And there are a bunch of different ways to look at how does that cost? What does that cost look like? There's fees and there's services. There's fees, there's annual fees, there's commissions, and are you going to be asked to be paid for marketing? Will you be asked to pay for advertising? Will that be something that's assumed when you join, or is it something that you can opt into? But all of these things get back to Linda's question, which is around how can you make sure that you're being found on that marketplace? Well, what is that marketplace offering you in order to be found? Is it just a listing, and then you're going to have to rely on customers coming to the site and finding you and doing keyword searches? Are there other ways that marketplace is offering to showcase you? For example, we do, every week, we highlight one of the sellers or service providers on the W Marketplace through our Her Story highlight. So we have a seller, we interview them, they fill out a short form, they submit a photo, and then we have somebody who does a really beautiful write-up. And then that goes out on our social and our newsletters, and they're highlighted on our homepage. So when you're looking at marketplaces, really be thinking about what are all of the ways that this marketplace is allowing me to be revealed? What does their search engine look like? How difficult is it to find the search? How powerful is their keyword search? How are you showing up? What does your actual listing look like? I think that one of the things that we've seen that's really powerful with professional service providers, and I think many of you know this, it's that connection that you make with a potential client. Like, what is that? How do you make that kind of, and I think that for women in particular, this can be really true. How do you make that initial, like, powerful connection that's going to draw somebody in to make them want to spend time with you and want to buy your services? How are they trusting you? So can you talk about, is there a place within that platform to list your credentials? Is there a place where you can have a video? Can you do a video where you're actually talking about your professional service and who you are as a provider, what your values are, what your expertise is? Is there an opportunity to talk a little bit about what your experience is? Is there a place for you to put customer their evaluations of of the job that you have done for them? So are there various places within this platform that you can be bringing in all of these referrals and your background and your experience? Are there ways to place this on the platform that are giving you that exposure to your expertise? Because that's really what you're selling, right? Is your expertise.
Yeah, that's so smart, Susan. And I think that no matter what marketplace that you decide to use to sell your products, your goods, your services, understanding all the different ways that you can stand out, differentiate yourself, and really promote your services is key. Really understanding all those opportunities. And if the marketplace that you've elected to be a part of doesn't provide opportunities for video, for being highlighted in newsletters, being highlighted in spotlight features, then maybe it's time to look at other marketplaces where you do have the opportunity to really stand out and differentiate yourself. If you decide to join in marketplace, how can you ensure that there's options for digital marketing? So as a professional service provider, if I am a marketing expert, or I am a international lifestyle consultant, or I am an author, or I am, a coach, how can I ensure that I, one, understand my options for digital marketing, and two, that I take advantage of those options? And what should we be looking for in terms of digital marketing?
I would definitely be, looking closely at all of the ways that marketplace communicates, both with customers, but also with the other sellers on the site. And that's one thing. I mean, the customer piece, I think that we all have those are some pretty clear channels, right? Like, what does their social media look like? Are they talking about the sellers on their site? What do their newsletters look like? I would just ask the questions. How many times do those newsletters go out? How do you send them out? Who goes to them? Is it opt-in only newsletters? Are you just sending these newsletters to people who actually want to get them? Or are you buying lists? Ask those really pointed questions about who is finding out about me. I would also be looking at, are there opportunities for me to purchase advertising? If I want to really stand out and I'm investing in my business, there may be opportunities. Can I get myself on the front page? How long does that last? What are the different placements that are available? And be really clear and be really clear about what the different placements are, what they cost, and then be able to evaluate the different platforms kind of on a really practical level. Are there options to be highlighted in social media? Are those options paid social, or are they through the organic channels? Because those are going to be different audiences. So these are the types of questions that absolutely ask every single time. And if you're not getting clear answers, and it's not, if pricing isn't clear, then I would probably either keep asking or move on.
I love that. I love the idea of being fearless and asking the tough questions about how we can maximize our presence on a digital marketplace, how we make sure that customers can find us, especially new customers, and what the options are for digital marketing. I think those are all three really key points. So, for most of the people that are on this call, my guess is that their expertise is not necessarily selling a pair of shoes. But it may be selling services. It may be selling some sort of thought leadership. Now, I will say Sarah Thomas, who's with us, has a gorgeous clothing line called Status that is absolutely phenomenal. And Sarah, I don't know if you're hearing us or not, but her clothing line is phenomenal. But most of the women here sell thought leadership. They sell some sort of service. So in that case, how can they sell their services on an e-commerce platform when they can't point to a top or a pair of shoes or jeans or something like that?
Absolutely. Our belief is that we believe that when women shop, that we don't just transact oftentimes. We want to we're using kind of all parts of our minds and our hearts, right? When we're purchasing. So you might be coming to the W Marketplace and you might be thinking, I would love to buy a beautiful top from Sarah Thomas, for example. But you're also noticing there's also services here. And you know what? I really need a life coach. So we believe that women can do both things at the same time. Like we use all parts of our brains all of the time. So, we believe that an e-commerce marketplace makes sense in that way because we think that people are coming for one thing, but oftentimes they're finding another. It's just the way that we shop and it's the way that we think. But there is a different type of challenge, right, with professional services because it's more of a relationship. It's more of a trust base when you're hiring somebody to be your coach, to be your accountant, to be your divorce attorney, for example. You really want to have a feeling of trust. And that is where that ability to create a complex listing that really shows who you are as a service provider is key. And that goes back to some of those earlier things that we were talking about, Linda, like with the ability to provide a video, the ability to provide an in-depth bio of who you are, the ability to provide listings of, quotes from satisfied customers and that sort of thing. I think those things are especially crucial when it comes to selling a professional service. Some of the other things that have been interesting that our professional service sellers have done is they've actually created listings on the site that are for something like a free consultation. You can just actually, pop a free consultation into your shopping bag and have a 15-minute call with a professional service provider. So that gives the customers the opportunity to really do kind of like a risk-free trial, for example. We've also had professional service providers do things like sell individual blocks of time through the e-commerce platform. So they're actually using it much more like a traditional platform than contracting like a long-term contract, right? It's like you want to buy an hour of my time. That's really easy. You can actually transact it through the platform. And what it does is it gives professional service providers a really easy way to manage transactions as well. You don't have to set up a separate transacting platform or payment profile. You can actually just do it through the platform itself. So it's definitely, it's a different model than many people are used to thinking about, but it is something that we have seen, especially I would say some solo entrepreneurs who are like, I feel like I'm hanging out here on my own. I've built my own website, but it is expensive and time consuming to drive traffic to it and do all of that marketing. So I would rather be on a platform where I know a lot of other people are thinking about how to promote this platform and promote me and promote my business. And what I can focus on is being the best accountant, the best life coach, the best travel agent I can be. And I don't have to worry about SEO and digital marketing and newsletters and all of that other good stuff that I get to think about all day long, because that's what I do. I want to say one more thing about this e-commerce platform that has been fascinating and that we have seen develop over the last year. And that is that our sellers are selling to each other. So we have folks on the site, many of them professional service providers. Like, let's say you're a life coach. Like, nobody wants to spend time doing graphic design to put up their storefront. Like they're like, I am a life coach. I'm not a graphic designer, but we have graphic designers on the site. So they're actually transacting with each other internally. So our professional service providers are finding a built-in audience of other sellers who need their services. They need bookkeepers. They need graphic designers. They need business coaches. And they're all in this one ecosystem together, and they're finding each other, which has been the most fun thing that we've watched develop over the last year. And because of that, we've started to really intentionally put some things together through the W Marketplace to make sure that those connections are happening and that people are able to find each other.
I love that. And I believe in the transformative power of women coming together and transacting business together. So I'm a big believer in that. So, we heard in the poll at the very beginning of the hour that many of the folks on the call today have a website, and they believe that their website is really the portal to transacting business with them. Could be that if they have a coach, that's where people book time with them. It could be if they are a marketing expert, then that's where they direct people to do a consultation with them. But what are the benefits of joining a marketplace versus building your website and using that to be your main listing, if you will?
I think that there are definitely benefits to both. I mean, if you have your own website, right, you're controlling all of your messaging, and you're controlling all of your brand, and you're controlling your whole presence within that digital space. So that's definitely a benefit. And many of our sellers have a standalone website and are on the W Marketplace as well. But I think that, it gets a little bit down to resources, right? And how much time do you have in your life to manage your promotions and your marketing and your content? We at the W Marketplace, we spend a lot of time thinking about how to drive traffic to the site and how to get every business on the site visible to customers. That's what we spend our time thinking about. And what our goal is that means that the sellers on the site can spend less time thinking about that, and they can think more time about how to just run their business and be the best coach or bookkeeper that they can be and serve their customers. So, I think that's one of the biggest benefits. There's also just frankly, if you're many of if you have your own websites, it's expensive. You build your site, and that costs, and you're paying, a web developer and a graphic designer, or if you've done it yourself, that there's a lot of cost in time as well. And then there's the maintenance, there's the upkeep. It's like once you build your website, it doesn't just, if it just sits there, then it's like in a week, it's stale, right? and the effort and the time that goes into promoting it is also just really profound. Like if you build it, are they going to come? And how will they find you? It is, unless they're, really got those keywords just that are going to hone in on you specifically. As you all know, it's difficult to be found. So joining a marketplace where there's a whole other team who's thinking about how to drive business and to find you, I think that is one of the most key benefits, along with joining a community. And it's really been remarkable to see the community form within the W Marketplace over the last year and see people supporting each other and helping each other's businesses grow. I personally like being part of a team and a community and feeling like there are others around me. So for me, it's a great fit. And I think that that's another key piece to thinking about, how you want to be running and generating your business.
I love that. So, Susan, you mentioned how many companies are on the W Marketplace at the top of the hour, and you talked about your growth and that type of thing. But can you talk a little bit about, again, Emily said, how many companies are on the marketplace? I know you mentioned that, but can you break that down into how many of your sellers are selling services versus products and things like that? Do you have those stats?
I do. So we've got about 400 companies who have joined us to date. We've got about 2,000, a little over 2,000 products and services listed. Right now, I would say that we're at about, I would say, and Colleen is on our team as well, and she might have more current stats than this, but I would say we're about 50% products. We're about 30% service providers, and we're at about 20%. We also have a whole area where nonprofit organizations and accelerators and other business organizations are listed, and that's probably about 20%. So I'd say 50, 30, 20 is roughly where we're at with numbers.
That's great. And what are some of the key things that I should be looking for if I'm evaluating marketplaces to join? And we've talked about some of them, eBay and Amazon, where I feel like I would get lost as a small business. But what are some of the key things that I should be looking for when I'm making that choice of where to show up, where to be? Even if I'm an author and I have a book and I want to sell my book, what are some of the things that I should be evaluating when I consider where to be and how to sell that?
Yeah, I think that it does really come down to, it's almost a personal decision, right? I mean, it's a business decision, but it's also kind of gets to how you want to spend your time and what you want to spend your time thinking about. I have never personally sold anything on Amazon, but having been in this business for a while now and having spoken with a lot of women who have, and I think that some of the folks on the call here have, from what I have understand is it's very complex. And I've had people tell me I've actually had to hire an entire staff person just to manage the fulfillment piece, the SEO piece, the advertising piece. Like, it's a complex business where, because there are literally millions and millions of companies selling through Amazon, being discovered through that platform can be a challenge. Now, it's also a place that people feel like they kind of have to be because it's where everyone shops. We're hoping to change that through the W Marketplace. We want people to shop. To be perfectly clear, we really believe that Jeff Bezos has enough money. Like, we think he's probably good for a while. We'd love to see that money go into everyone else's pockets and make everybody else rich. So it's, so thinking about the complexity of the marketplace, I think that's really important. How much time and effort and thought power and manpower or woman power are you going to spend just managing your space there? I think is really important. The other thing that I would look at that's also related to that is the complexity of the fee and commission structure. I spent some time last year looking at Etsy's fee structure, and I think they have a beautiful platform, and what they do is they do a fantastic job at it. But I think it took me quite a while and a lot of Googling to understand all of their listing fees, and then the whole piece around advertising. And if you sell a certain amount, then you have to buy a certain amount of advertising. So just being super clear when you are signing up, kind of what those different fees and commission pieces look. What is the fee to sign up? What is commission? What are there listing fees for your individual items? What is your transaction fee? What is the cost per transaction? Are there marketing fees that are, they're just look at all of the pieces and make sure that you're evaluating like apples to apples, because it is complex. Absolutely. And then the other piece that I think that a lot of people look at, and many of our sellers sell on multiple platforms. Are there platforms where you have a values or mission affiliation? So many of the women who are attracted to our site come on our site because they love our mission. They want to be with other women. They believe in raising up women and closing that economic gender gap, and they want to be part of this community. But there are other sellers who also may have a sustainability values set. So they have joined other marketplaces that have that as kind of their leading value proposition. So, that's another piece to look at as well. Are there ways that these marketplaces are highlighting you if you're from a particular community that you also want to have that highlighted? For example, we have the ability to badge yourself as a business for your products and your seller listing if you are a veteran, or if you are a Black-owned business, or if you are a Latina business. So are there ways that these communities can also be highlighted within that site? So that's another piece to look at when you're evaluating different marketplaces. I would also just look at the functionality of the site. Like, is it easy to shop there? Is it easy to find what you're looking for? When you go to the homepage, is it clear what this business does? Is it clear how to find things? Do you feel like if you shopped there yourself, could you find yourself? So looking at the actual functionality of the site as well is a key factor. I think those would be the main. I'm sorry, I'm going to mention one more thing, and that's business support. Like, what is that marketplace promoting? How that it is going to support your business and you growing as a business. So is it more like I need to fight my way to be revealed within this marketplace, or is the marketplace actively supporting me in growing my business?
So with that, I want to say thank you to Susan for walking us through some of the most important decisions that you need to make as a business owner around how to join a marketplace, how to maximize your presence in those marketplaces, how to ensure that customers can find you, and what your options are for digital marketing and for marketplaces. Again, Susan, we're so grateful for your time. And for all of you that want to connect with Susan afterwards, know that she is the co-founder and CMO of the W Marketplace, and she is available to connect with any of you afterwards. And because that the ladies here are members of Leadership Global, and Leadership Global has a strategic partnership with the W Marketplace, everyone who is a member of Leadership Global gets 20% off any of their listings, any of their shop fronts, if you will, on the W Marketplace. So you get a pretty sizable discount on an already very inexpensive platform with the W Marketplace. So with that, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for spending an hour with us, everyone. And thank you so much to Susan for sharing your expertise with us.